Hi, my name's Alison James. I'm the PA to the MD and one of the buyers here at Regal Wholesale. We're a wholesaler of household goods and toiletries with a focus on being the #1 distributor for paper products such as toilet rolls, kitchen towels and tissues. Our customers are other wholesalers, independent retailers, and we've got a growth in online retailers and away from home. We trade internationally and nationally, with the majority of our customers being in the UK and Ireland. We've been trading for just over 38 years. We started training on the AGR solution back in February 23, and we probably put it into practice fully by the end of March. Back in 2022, we changed over to Business Central. One of the challenges we've faced is understanding the flows and ebbs of stock. We didn't really have a system that showed us what was happening in the market. Typically, particularly seasonal items, we're often forgetting to buy them, or we were too late to market with them. And it required a lot of manual knowledge and just experience from the team to make sure that we stayed on top of these things. One of the other challenges is that the Business Central system that we switched over to was a very basic system. It didn't give us a low stock report. We were missing things when we needed to buy them, and we had to be very selective with how we got the information together. You couldn't just run a buyer report for your suppliers. You literally had to select the individual vendor codes, and it was very time consuming. Another of the challenges was that we had a lot of overstocks in the system, either from advanced purchase or minimum quantities we needed to buy to get the deal, to be competitive in the market, and then the remainder of the stock sort of just started sitting there, and we didn't always see them until it was too late. One of the biggest challenges we had on our old system was not being able to forecast. Some of our larger suppliers require quarterly forecasts, yearly forecasts in advance so that they know how much stock to produce, and this was very difficult for us to come up with the figures. We were very reliant on what they were saying that we were trading instead of us going, actually, this is what we were doing. Actually, that customer isn't buying again, So it was very difficult for us to produce a forecast without us doing a lot of manual work, and it was very time consuming. One of the internal frictions we faced was the Mrs. Hinch effect on how products were going viral online, because she was telling people this is the product you should use, and we were getting inundated with requests and couldn't keep up with demand. So obviously, and then we were estimating up based on our little sales, and the sales could be quadrupling daily, so it was very difficult to keep on top of what things like that were having an impact on the market, and there was quite a lot of products at the time that were being hit by this effect. One of the struggles we have was managing the team, 3 buyers in the team, the MD, and it had an impact on bringing orders into the business. Everybody wants stuff in at the same time. We've got limited space. It was causing a few problems with ordering and making sure we got stock in. Obviously, suppliers have minimum order issues that we have to meet, so sometimes you bring in full trucks for 2 to 3 pallets, which obviously has an impact on the overall business in itself. It's difficult to balance the stock. Before going ahead with AGR, the only other solution that we were looking at was the Business Central. We're looking at developing a purchase order system for us. They didn't seem to get what we needed from it, so I think that was the main reason for going with AGR. It seemed to understand what people wanted from a buying system, and not just, you press this button, that button, there you go, there's your answer. Buying's a little bit more sophisticated than that. There's a lot of unknowns that you have to account for. The implementation of the system was quite simple. It was a quite easy upload. We had a few training sessions, which everyone, once you got that visibility of what the data was looking like, everyone loved it. It's a great visual impact of what your stock is doing and what it has been doing and where your customers are and what's currently happening with the orders in the system and everything else. One of the improvements we've seen, which has been a gradual improvement, is the improvement on our stock availability. Just before we put in AGR, it was 82%. It had dropped at the one point down to 78%, and we're currently running around 92%. It's definitely seen an improvement of being able to get stocks in quicker. One of the functions we quite like on AGR is the ABC ranking, which obviously allows you to decide which stocks you should be ordering more of and which are less priority. And we set it up so that we have ABC ranking for the two types of stock. The first one is the most selling line, so the quantity that we sell the most of, but we also use the ranking for the quantity that goes on the most sales orders. So you might not sell hundreds of them, but we've got more of our customer base taking them. So that is just as important as the volume that goes out the business, because volume can go to 1 or 2 customers. One of the other clear benefits is when you're looking at the graphs, you can see really high peaks in sales, and you can drill into them to see if that's just a customer one-off, where previously, if you've got a peak every 3 months, you might not realise it's different customers. So that can have an impact on your sales. If you carry on ordering that peak, you'll end up with an overstock situation, where at least being able to see the peaks helps you identify when there is issues in the stock, or not to order as well. And added to that, it allows you to go back to customers and say, "Stop buying this, why?" So it does give us an extra feedback as well. I think it's been very simple to use. I think it's a system that anybody could use. So from if you were to start a job new and come in, AGR would be a system you could put someone with no experience in front of, and they could probably place an order. I think visually, being able to look at something visually instead of just looking at numbers makes it a lot easier for some people to read. 3 words to describe AGR would probably be informative, visual and straightforward. I think it's an easy system to use, and I think the fact that it's visually gives you the picture of what's going on when you stock, instead of just giving you loads of numbers. Makes it very easy to find information and look for information. Yes, I would. I think AGR is a good system to use, but I think it's definitely a way forward for people to build on using the purchasing system. Unfortunately, our own lead time has increased just because our businesses are growing, so we've had to increase our own lead time, and that has obviously been having an impact on orders. So we recently changed AGRs, all the suppliers, to be 14 days instead of their 3 or 4, 7 days, because it didn't matter if they could deliver in 3 days, we couldn't take it for 14, so that was impacting on the figures. So the other type of things we're looking at doing is reviewing the settings, seeing if there is other places that we can tweak the settings so that we're getting a maximisation that reflects our business trading picture needs.